Hello everyone, how's it going? Dr. Incompetent here, and let's play some Abiotic Factor, shall we? Doing a complete beginner's guide so that if you're a new player or somebody who has just gotten the game or maybe is looking to buy the game, you can understand exactly how to get into and enjoy Abiotic Factor. This is a fantastic game. It's a great survival game. However, there are some things that were not clear to me as a new player that I learned from kind souls on stream or in the YouTube comments and from my own trial and error that I think would help clarify some of the beginning of the game and help you prioritize. Now, in this beginner's guide, what we're going to do is fire up a brand new game from the introduction and onward so that you can really just play along and kind of see exactly what choices that I make as I discuss my thought process. I'm going to explain the UI, how to play, how to survive, but I'm not going to advocate for one single playstyle or spoil anything. This is going to be a spoiler-free guide, at least in terms of the content that it shows. It won't talk about stuff too far beyond that content. What we're going to do is kind of just prepare you with the fundamentals so you can enjoy this game at your own pace and with the playstyle and approach that you would like to take. So I already have an avatar that's here from my previous save file, and you can customize your character as you see fit. They just recently added beards to the game, so I have one. And what we're going to do is go to enter the facility. Now there's a customization button that you can put here to customize your character, but when you start, you will also build your character through the introduction. So my screen will also look a little different to yours because I've already done the introduction, but once you do the introduction, you'll get this replay introduction availability. Otherwise, when you start a new game, enter the facility, even if you make a new world, you will just immediately launch in that world without doing the introduction because it's a lot of story building, but for our first time I recommend everyone do it. It does teach you the basic controls as well as gives you some a really humorous introduction to the world itself. And yes, we want to take me there to the intro. Gate Cascade Restricted Zone. So we're driving with this cool dude out in the desert somewhere. New Zealand. Not sure where we are.
Almost there.
Kangaroo crossing up ahead.
So, ready for your first day?
I can't wait. It's going to be a heck of a day, Lance. Just an easy day at the old facility. Not much out here that we can see right now, right? I can look all the way around in this amazing vehicle.
There she is.
And I guess there's a little bit over there, but it looks pretty nondescript. I'm not, super impressed at the moment, but I'll trust Lance that this is indeed her. So you can exit vehicles and chairs by pressing jump, and you will fly out of it like that. And Lance just immediately leaves us in the dust and is gone. So we can move with WASD and use left shift to sprint. Now, you can also hold E to close the tip. I'm going to be using mouse and keyboard. You can use the controller for this game as well. I'm playing on a PC on Steam. Using mouse and keyboard, I like it best for this game. Now, I have some toggles that I have set. So if you go into settings, you can mess with accessibility to change certain things about the game. But in the controls, where was it that I... Is it in gameplay? Here we go. Okay. So I did some editing in gameplay to make it so that temperature is in, Fahrenheit because I'm an American and use the imperial stuff. But like, if you want to do Celsius and you want to do 24-hour time, you can change all of that right here. There is, here we go. This is what I did in the accessibility, which is I have toggle sprint and crouch. Now, I like this. You can even shorten the hold interaction like we just saw with the E key. You can mess around with this all you like, but I did it so basically if I just push left shift, it's toggled so I'm running, and I like to do it that way instead of just holding down shift, but you can do however you like. All right, so we can jump over obstacles with the space bar, and indeed we can. All right, and they want us to go over here. Now, you see that little kind of gate icon right there, the A for Abiotic Factor and the A in gate, in the corporation. That is usually a quest marker, and you can always kind of head towards that to find your next objective. It's not the outhouse. Move away. Go over here. And we need to interact with this intercom. Just push E. And this slides down. This guy takes a look at us and closes it. And you're like, well, what's that mean? It means we can open the door. So now we can actually, it's been unlocked. We can open this. And he's moved away and is back here chilling.
Okay, you're the transfer, huh? You sure picked a day.
I did.
Things a bit hectic downstairs this morning.
Okay.
Just grab your gate pal there. It'll help you get sorted.
All right, so this little PDA is our gate pal. I'll pick it up. And you can push J to check out our journal. And it says I don't have a specific goal right now, but if you click on this, some of the icons on your gate pal, you can get more information about what you're supposed to be doing, or lore entries. So this is telling me about the gate pal itself. It says my gate pal stores useful data and communications, assuming it works like the ones at Springer facility. It'll be locked to my security clearance, so it only provides data for sectors I've got access to. So, the assumption is if we get more access, we get more data. We'll just push escape. And look at this guy. So this is one of the things I love about this game. It's got this awesome, Half-Life 1 kind of like 90s vibe with these big CRT monitors. We could talk to him again.
Sorted? Okay.
I'm sorted.
Most of what you need should be in your gate, pal. Well, eventually.
Okay.
But you're good to go. Head down to the elevator. It'll take you down to induction, and they'll take care of you.
They're going to take care of us. Okay. So now we need to go down to the elevator. E is generally the interact key. Just have it on standby. Use it to open the door, for example. Radiation. When you encounter radiation, you will see small speckles or dots in your vision, like we see right now. And this increases in intensity with the radiation strength. A little won't hurt, but long-term exposure will harm you without protection. So this is a very important tip. And you'll see these little specks whenever you're near radiation, or if you pick up something radioactive and you have it in your backpack and you kind of forget about it, you'll just see these wherever you go because you're carrying radiation with you. So just kind of pay attention. This is not a graphical glitch. This is radiation. So we're going to follow these lines down here, and there's blue and there's purple. And, well, purple probably means we can't go there. Let's go talk to this lady here. Tracy, pick up hard hat and then open your inventory to equip it. So I'm going to pick up the hard hat, and you can actually just pick it up with tapping E, or you can hold E if you see that, and then you'll put it on your head.
Got what you need. Head through the gate to my left, down
Okay.
to the elevator. It'll take you down to induction.
So we're going to get down to induction like this.
So you've got what
All
you
right.
need.
That's all
Head
I've got.
through the gate to my left, down to the elevator.
Okay.
It'll take you down to induction.
We're going to go down here. Notice we don't see the radioactive little blips anymore because there's no more radiation. It was just as we entered. And here's our elevator. We're going to use it and move on down to induction. Now, I recommend pointing your camera this way because you'll see a bunch of really cool stuff as you pass. It's giving you a feel for what's out there. Okay, there's like a board meeting going on. And then, oh my god, a giant creature being led in chains. And we made it to staff processing. Fantastic. And we can hold to open the emote wheel and wave or page the guard. So you can use the B key hold it to open the emote wheel, and you'll see it here. You just move the mouse around the wheel, and we might want to greet the guard by waving.
Hey, new transfer.
Hey, Bruce.
I got pulled in from surface duty. The usual lady, she got called out to help downstairs. Happens. Chaos is kind of our thing around here. You seem a bit antsy. Just wait. I'll unlock the gate in a second. Now, I've never run someone through this, but it looks pretty straightforward. Coming from the Springer facility, you'll know the basics, but since we deal with specimens directly, everyone on staff has to know basic ECP. That's emergency containment procedures.
Ah.
Okay, now I have some instructions here that aren't really compatible with the current security situation around here, so we're just gonna improvise a bit. Bear with me. I'm gonna have you crawl through that vent down there. Consider it like chasing down an escaped specimen. You got a big brain, you got a big imagination, right?
That's right, Bruce. Okay, so he wants us to crawl through the vent. So we can't open this, but we can open this. And work smart, use it or lose it, indeed. So we're just kind of moving around. Now, the game is warning you, specimen containment. We work with specimens directly. We're going to need to deal with specimens all over the lab that may have escaped. And when you see this red, this generally means you do not have access. This takes class 2 clearance, or you can hack it. We don't have it, so we can look around here, and there's the emblem I was talking about, the gate icon. You'll see that on pretty much everything because it's all property of gate. And here's a ladder. So you can just walk into a ladder and hold W to go up, and you'll climb the ladder. And then we need to drop down here and pick up this flashlight. Dismantling. Many objects can be dismantled for resources, either broken with a proper weapon or taken apart by holding F. Vents can be destroyed or dismantled. Alright, going to close that tip. And I'm going to pick up the flashlight. And you'll notice that in my hotbar at the bottom of the screen, it's gone into number 1 there, the flashlight. And I'm going to walk back here, and I can unlock this gate from the inside if I really want to, and do that. Now, this stuff will come up as we go, but let me just kind of walk you through some of the basics of what we see on the screen, because once we get into the game proper, it might not be as easy to do so if we're under duress or anything like that. So now that we're just in a kind of chill environment, we can do that. So in the bottom left of the screen, you're going to see a little scientist there with glasses and a necktie. That is your vitals monitor. So the heart that's in light blue with the bar, that's kind of your health bar, and tells you, you know, how well you're doing. We're at full health right now. And then the little paper doll guy down there will light up in different colors, you know, going in intensity to like red, for example, which is really bad, which means like you've taken damage on that area of your body. Now you see how there's X by the head of that guy. If you push X, it actually brings up your status right here. Now this is useful. You're going to look at this all the time because this is going to tell you how hungry you are, how thirsty you are, if you need to use the bathroom, if you're tired, and any other bonuses or negative effects that you have going on. Then in moving from the status to the right, you'll see your health, and then you'll see a bigger blow up of your paper doll. Above it is a temperature gauge telling you kind of where you're at temperature-wise. Then any major health issues will be in the red health issues area. And if you have medical supplies, they'll be on the far right, and you can kind of use them from here to help heal yourself. I'm just going to push escape to leave this, but if you want to stay here, this is the same as, you know, the little tool that we had before, our gate pal, when we just push J, and you can cycle through the different fields of this by using the arrow keys here. And this is just my health, which is X, and you can get to it at any time by pushing X. I'm going to go back out. In the upper left, you'll see it says go through the vent. That's just where your quest objectives will appear. Then there's a little backpack. We're moving back down to the lower left, to the right, and it tells you that's your inventory. You just push tab, and you open up your inventory. And you've customized your character, I think, at this point, and you have an appearance. And then we've got right here our pager, and this is only for cooperative play. But then on our paper doll, we've got our hard hat, for example. So you could see that we're wearing it right now. And this icon in the upper left shows you your armor weight and how much it's impacting your movement speed. This number is your level of protection from equipped armor. It's the aggregate of your armor, and it just kind of tells you how much protection you're getting overall. And these are the different slots you can equip items at for your character. Then you have an inventory right here in the center. These are your slots of inventory, and you can also use the slots on your hotbar at the bottom. You can expand this by adding a backpack to this pocket icon up here, and items in this are carried by category, so they stack to a certain number and take up space in your inventory, but there is also weight, which affects your level of inventory weight. And if you become more encumbered, you pass like this yellow threshold, you become slowed, and then if it passes red, you are more prone to leg injuries and you're severely slowed. So you kind of want to keep your weight down unless you're training strength or something, which we'll look at. This is how much money we have. Now you can use money to buy items from vending machines throughout the complex. And then I'm going to push escape to go out of this for now. You could see to the right of the backpack in the bottom left there is a watch, and it says T. You could push this to bring up your awesome watch, your cool Casio calculator watch. Tells you what time it is. You can push B to kind of, again, that's your remote wheel, and we don't really need to use that. That's pretty much for multiplayer. And then in the bottom center are your hotkeys that correspond to the numbers 1 through 8 on the keyboard. And if I push 1, for example, I bust out my flashlight. You can see I'm holding it, and then left click will turn it on or off. My flashlight, you can see, has a yellow bar underneath it, and that is its level of battery charge. I'm going to walk over. I could push 2, for example, just to de-equip my flashlight. And I'm going to walk over to this vent. When I'm on it, you see how the whole thing turns blue, meaning I've got it like in my vision and it's selected, and I just need to hold F to dismantle it. Boom. And it busted out some metal scrap. I'm going to push E to pick that up, and I'm going to push C to crouch. One thing that I kind of slept on with this game is I saw it. I immediately thought first-person shooter like Doom or Half-Life, and my sensibilities went right into FPS land, which there is that sort of, but it's primarily a survival crafting game at heart. And so what that means is even though you're not in the woods, everything can be salvaged and you can craft in it. It's just in this game you're crafting stuff with office supplies, so it's really hilarious. You make stuff out of paper clips and metal scraps and table legs instead of, coconuts and tree branches. So we're going to move in here, and I have my crouch, like I said, set to toggle, so I'm just crouching. Everything, look at everything. This toolbox, I open it, and there's a couple of pipe wrenches in it. So when you are looting a container, it just actually brings you into this screen, which you'll recognize as our inventory screen. You could see my avatar is crouching to reflect my position. And from this screen, which you'll get whenever you're looting a container, you can click the sort button to sort these things. You can push this or Q to kind of store items of the same type, like if you're in your base and you're in a storage container and you want to just dump out everything and keep it organized from your inventory to your storage, you use that. Or you could push F, which is very common, to just take everything. So I took both wrenches, and now I've got a couple of wrenches down there on my hotbar, and I've actually equipped one. And so you can see I'm holding a wrench. If you see this red X, by the way, this kind of like box with a red X through it, that means you can't get through that. So don't even bother.
If there's something in your way, because I put it there, there should be a tool down there. Something you can smash the crate with.
Indeed.
You might have to look around a bit.
There is that tool.
Don't worry about smashing stuff. Like we got a lot of crates. A lot of crates.
All right, so Bruce is hilarious, and there's the crate. Again, red hash bars like this, you can't break through it. But when you can break through something, you'll see how there's that little blue icon, like a cracker being broken right there. And that means let's go ahead and hit this. Bam. So I'm just going to left-click it. You'll see damage. If you see damage like this appear on something, it means you're breaking it. or if a health bar appears, it means you're doing damage and you're going to break it. If you see no damage and no health bar, it means that it's just part of the environment that you can't break. Now notice how as soon as I pick up the cloth scrap in the upper right, it says new recipe, bandage, and throwing net. It also says cloth scrap parentheses 4. That means I'm getting 4 instances of cloth scrap. And over on the right, you could see a little indicator pop up with what I've just picked up, and it kind of fades away over time. Now I'm going to push control again to stand up, and I'm just going to break everything. Pick up all of this cloth scrap. So all of these lab coats are just cloth scrap. It's not something you wear, it's just a material that you can use for crafting. I'm going to pick this up, I'm going to pick that up. And if you can't see, just bust out your flashlight, left click like this, and then hey, there it is. I picked that up. Great. And I'm going to left click again to turn it off. Push 2 to select my pipe wrench and just break everything. I'm taking it all. None of this matters, I don't think. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, you don't carry anything with you from the introduction into the game, but you might. I'm not sure. So you could see this massive gate warehouse here, just kind of revealing the facility to you. This is why I like doing the introduction.
Oh, what the hell? This damn radio's acting up. There we go. Ugh, all morning. Alright, where were we? They want you to capture a creature. The lady who's supposed to do this, she took all the nets downstairs with her. Look around, maybe you can make one out of something.
Okay, so crafting. As a scientist, you find inspiration all around you. Gain new crafting recipes and ideas by picking up resources, interacting with items, packaging furniture, and the occasional email. So this is actually really important. Press C to access your crafting and research menu. Some recipes are craftable right away, but ideas must first be invented. You've learned the recipe for throw nets, now craft some. So let's talk about this. First of all, reading email is key to getting recipes. Opening all file attachments, looking at all images will help you get more recipes for things that you can craft. So the game is emphasizing you break everything, pick up everything, interact with everything to try to learn more recipes. So I'm going to push C, and I'm going to open up the crafting and research panel. And you could see this is just part of my gate pal right here. It's just one of the icons. It's got the, the square and the compass. And these items here are what I can craft. Now, the boxes that are in yellow, they're just badged because I can craft them, and I believe because they're new. So if I click on the bandage, it will lose that luster, the net, and the water bottle, because the yellow just means like you just got that recipe, so you can keep track of what you've just acquired. Now, if it's in blue like this, that means I actually can craft it. So they want us to craft some throwing nets. Now, I want to show you another thing, though, is this item right here. This is an idea for an energy brick. So if you have an idea for something, it will show you a little blueprint of it. And then you get this screen that has a brain and has several boxes around it. It can vary how many boxes it is. And what it's telling you is that you've got an idea to make something, but you need to fill in the gaps. So these are all the different things that the energy brick, which is kind of like a battery, can be made from. And the different material types are categorized by these frames. So you see that there is this kind of like rainbow frame, and then there is this golden frame. This energy brick takes 3 golden frames and 1 rainbow, and you choose from these available options up here. I like to look at this because it just gives you an idea of what you're going to be collecting. So you're going to be breaking down computers that you see to get power supply units, tech scrap, circuit boards, case fans, and then anything else to get like plastic scraps, and picking up keyboards, for example, for your crafting. So let's just drag some of these down here, and each one represents only one type, and see what it takes. Sometimes if you look at the silhouette of the item over here, it can kind of give you a clue for what you need. I don't remember exactly, so once you fill this up, you just click on the brain. And we didn't get it, but it tells you what you got right. So it's not plastic, but it's a case fan. And now I click on it, boom. And we learned how to make the energy brick. And it's in red because we don't have the materials, and we don't have, as it says here, a powered crafting bench to make it. We can't just make this on hand. These items, water bottle, throw net, bandage, we can make these because these are craftable on hand without a crafting bench nearby. So let's go back to the throwing net here, and you make 3. It says times 3, meaning like for each cloth scrap you use, you actually make 3 nets. So you can just make 1 by clicking the craft 1 button right here, or you can dial this up here, or you can click the max button. Now, we don't really want to make 10 right now. We don't need that many. I'm just going to make 3. So making this 3 times will give us 9 total nets. Now, another thing that you can do from this screen is click the pin button right here so that it will pin the recipe to the heads-up display. I'm going to undo that. I don't need it pinned up there. And then you can also share this for multiplayer. So I'm going to click this button, craft times 3, and you'll see...
I was just thinking I'd grab like a plastic bag for... You know what? This is why we do the jobs we do here at Gate. Go ahead and throw your fantastic net on the dummy.
Okay. So you could see right there when I click the craft button, there is a green progress bar. It does take real time to do it. And we're crafting away. And doing that actually gave us a new recipe for paper scrap. I can also make some bandages. I can just craft it just like that. And you can see +1 bandage on the right. It tells me I got that. And I can even make a water bottle, but I don't have any plastic. So unfortunately, I cannot make that right now. And again, this is in red because I don't have the bench. So these items are in blue because I can handcraft them. But then this is telling me I don't have the material. So we don't need it right now. Anyway, I'm just going to push escape. And you can see the nets that I made automatically went down to my action bar at the bottom. I'm going to push number 4 to pull out my net. Now, oh, looks like I pinned the energy brick recipe to the upper right. I'm just going to push C, and I'm going to get rid of that. Now, there's a handy button in the bottom left that just says unpin all recipes. I'm just going to click that so that I no longer have that pinned up there because I'm not going to be making that right now. This takes a little bit of finesse to get used to. Like if I just point my aiming reticule, you'll see there's a little dot in the middle of the screen. That's kind of like my aiming reticule. If I aim it and I push left click,
nice. You've got some athleticism in there.
I did hit the target. But if I'm further away, it sometimes...
That's not a real creature. So next step is special containment, isolation, wash hands, inoculate. You know what? Just stomp on it.
Yes, indeed. And this is actually what you will do, is stomp on it. So sometimes you might miss, and you just need to get a feel for like what will actually hit the target. But if you do miss, you could just pick up your net. And I'm going to walk over here, and when it's in the net, you just push E to stomp on it.
Oh, brutal.
Gross.
Okay, so next up, what's going on with your leg there? Looks to me like you're bleeding.
I am.
Look, we'll call this training, basic first aid. Find some cloth and make a bandage. And just keep this between us for now. I'll buy you a beer in residence later.
Okay, thanks, buddy. So you could see a few things have happened. In the bottom left, you see that we're bleeding. There's a little Moodle icon with like a bleeding finger. That's telling me I've got the bleeding effect. You can also see it on the screen. There's just a gash. I'm going to push C to craft, and I'm going to quickly just do this. I'm going to craft a bandage. I already have one, but I'm just demonstrating. And then now I'm going to push 5, and you just left-click to put on the bandage,
okay,
and it did it.
Way cleaner than I would have. You would, wouldn't you? You're going to fit right in down there.
That's right.
Looks like you can walk on it all right. Let's head you on through to the next room. Feel free to mosey. I've got to check some stuff out. We got some weird crap going on today. Not going to lie to you. He's
not going to lie to us. So there's a few things I want to say about this. Again, while we're not under threat. Notice how I am hurt in the bottom left. You see my health bar took some... it's been lowered. And then, like, my chest, if I push X and I look at myself, I got a little damage to the old body there from the wound that I took. And it appears to be, you know, coming from the center section. And from what I understand, I don't know why that's necessarily coming from that part of my body, considering I stepped on it with my leg. But that's just showing you that you have been hurt. So the bandage does not actually heal you from damage that you've taken. It just stops bleeding. And you can actually see that by mousing over it, and it says a basic bandage that will stop 1 instance of bleeding does not restore health. It tells you really clearly in the tooltip. Tooltips are great in this game. It tells you how much it weighs, for example. So I did take some damage, but that's okay. And actually, I want to show you something which was great about us taking damage. If I click on this final button that we haven't explored on the gate pile here, this is our skills menu. And this shows all of the skill trees. Now, I didn't actually get too much experience right there, but it was saying fortitude. So fortitude is going to be right here. And fortitude is, it says right here, each level increases your overall health points, particularly that of your head, as well as reduces damage you take. XP is primarily gained by taking damage from enemies, unfortunately. So by actually bleeding right there and taking damage, we raised our fortitude. Now, in the tutorial, they're not really giving us experience for that, but that did happen, so that's cool. I'm going to walk over here, and there's a computer. Right away, use this computer, and you see this old school screen, and you want to click on where it says email. And most of the time, these emails are just for flavor text. They're usually hilarious, and they give you an idea of what's going on in the game. Now, this is the tutorial, so I'm just going to kind of jump through this. In my Let's Play, I read everything out, but I'm going to just click on everything anyway and just see if we get any recipes from these emails. Always pay attention for attachments on the email so that you can find recipes that... But... And back here, you'll see a little hologram of Dr. Mance. You can listen to this.
Dr. Derek Mance reporting. Research Director, Gate Cascade Research Facility. After yesterday's fiasco, I've made a formal request to extend general anomaly storage immediately. We've requisitioned Ordo 113, only to discover that some effect from 221 had turned it permanently blue. I've made it clear to Henderson. This is not acceptable. Ordo subjects may be deemed low risk, but the range of phenomena is too diverse to jam them together like sardines.
Alright, so whenever you see these holo terminals, it's always from the kind of like lead researcher, Derek Mance, giving you more story, more update on what's going on in-game. Now, these are vending machines, obviously, and I think in the tutorial, I don't know if we can actually use them, but in the game you can buy these with your money. And then this is super important, which is a water cooler. So water coolers are fresh water. Fresh water is key. It's not contaminated. You can push E to drink it, or you can fill up water bottles. But also, I want to show you, you can package this up. So if I hold F, boom, it packages, and in this case it just broke apart. So when you're trying to package something, you have a chance of breaking it or actually getting it. Now, in that case, it broke apart. But packaging it means like you kind of break it down, and then you can put it in your backpack and then reinstall it somewhere else. So it's really, really nice. Like even this bench, well, I can't repackage that, but a lot of stuff you can just try to move it around, and it's great to have water at your base, for example. I'm going to click this and open the door.
So I'm betting they didn't have these at Springer. It says here, all gate staff at Cascade need to understand the facility's unique power system. It goes into a lot of detail only an egghead would want. No offense. Every power socket here comes with its own little extension cable, and we build everything purpose-built for those sockets. So what you're gonna do, you need to package the heater, place it back down near the power socket, and then... Okay, now I know that was a lot. I'm getting some weird interference on my radio. I'm gonna leave you to the whiteboard down there. You might need a screwdriver. I'll get back to you in a minute.
Okay, so they're telling us how to do what I was just talking about, which is packaging. So I'm going to pick up this screwdriver and this stack of papers. And it says grab the screwdriver, and it's number 6 on our hotbar here. Package the heater, deploy it, and build it, and then plug it in. So this is actually very important because most facilities that you build that are advanced need power, and there's plugs everywhere throughout the facility. So we're learning how to do this. I'm going to go over to this heater right here. I'm going to hold F to package it. When you successfully package, it'll get into this little tiny cube right here, and you just push E to pick it up, and it goes into our inventory. And then I'm actually going to push number 7 because that's where it landed on our hotbar. And then now I'm going to deploy it. They want us to deploy it in this area. Now, you see this blue sphere that's coming out? This is the area of influence that is reached by this power source. So whenever you're trying to put something down that needs power, the blue area tells you where it needs to go to be able to be plugged in. And the arrow on the ghosted blueprint that you see is telling you the orientation of this. So, you know, you can rotate this with R. I'm just going to have it facing like this, and I'm going to left click to put it down. Now, you actually haven't set it down. You've put the blueprint down. You need to build it. So if I walk over to it, you can see it says heater, but then there's a progress bar, and then it says use screwdriver to build. Now, I can hold F to pick it up again, or I can select my screwdriver and then just hold left click. You're getting construction experience. You can see in the upper left for doing this, and the progress bar is filling this up as we build it. And now we have it built. But you see that it has that plug icon on it. It means it's not plugged in, not getting power. So you walk over until you aim at this plug guy, and then when it says power socket connect, you just push E, and then now you're holding the plug. You just walk over and aim at the heater and push E, and then boom, it's plugged in. The magenta wire tells you did it.
There's some stuff on this list, but I don't reckon you're gonna need it. That's why you've got people like me around. Keep you safe.
Yeah.
Looks like I gotta check on some situation topside. So, yeah, head to the elevator. It'll take you down to residences. Real cozy stuff. Clipboard here says you're looking for a Dr. Khan? It sounds familiar. I guess he's in charge of the rest of your orientation. Alright, onward to science.
Onward to science.
For one of us, anyway.
For me. Okay, great. So we're going to walk over here, and we're going to go down to residences. And we're just going to go in the elevator and click this, and everything's fine. We're doing great.
Attention. This is a high priority safety broadcast. You are currently en route to Residence Level 7. Due to an active security situation, advanced safety precautions are in effect. This elevator will be redirected to Offices Level 1. Please remain in place and wait for security team assistance.
Okay. We'll just wait because we're getting rerouted. Okay, so now we are back here and ready to enter the facility, which the arrow is pointing at, and we could click on this and start a new game because we have completed the introduction, and we can jump in and see what the actual game has for us once we've learned the basics. I'm going to start a new game, and when you start a new game, you need to give it a name, your world. So I'm going to say, in comp tutorial. Now this game can be played single player or multiplayer. I'm going to be playing it single player for the purposes of this guide. So you can turn on your multiplayer settings down below, but I'm going to have this box checked right here for single player only, so it's just us there in the world. And then you can modify your sandbox settings, but I don't think we need to do anything to modify this as we start the game. I'm just going to go for it. In Abiotic Factor, your character is saved on a per-world basis. This means your character's traits, skills, items, and equipment and progress are tied to a given server. Visual customization is stored locally and carried between servers. You need to select a job and starting traits for your character with each new world, which you'll do now. Okay, so at this point, you get to kind of choose what character you will be. So as I said, this is a survival, crafting, sci-fi kind of game. It's like Half-Life 1, meets Valheim or Subnautica, something like that. And there's also some elements of 7 Days to Die with base defense. And then this character creation vaguely reminds me of something like Project Zomboid. So you're going to take a background, and for example, it's defaulting right now to lab assistant. Now this is your job that you are coming to the facility as having a background doing. So you start as a lab assistant, and then over here on the right, it's going to tell you, okay, you're fresh, you're green, and probably in way over your head, but what you lack in skills, you make up for in sheer ambition, speed, and staying out of everyone's crosshair. So it says the suggested role for this character type is stealth. So it's going to give you some, hint of how you play the game, which should correspond to your playstyle approach in games like this. So this is a stealther who has a plus to sprinting, a plus to sneaking, and +2 to strength. Now, a great thing about this game is you can pretty much do everything. This just gives you a start in this direction, but you can level up your skills whenever you want in the game by doing certain activities. For example, sprinting. If you just sprint, you will get sprinting experience. How about that? Sneaking, if you are stealthed near enemies that can detect you, you will raise your sneaking, and strength you can raise by carrying around a lot of heavy stuff. So these things you can boost up. There's also books and things like that in the game, but most of the stuff is like, Skyrim or something. You skill up by doing it. And there's many different choices right here. I think that there's something to trans-kinematic researcher because you can, fight. Or if you wanted, you could be somebody who is a little bit more intense with the paratheoretical physicist. And, you have kind of a distribution of skills where you can, you're good at throwing stuff. The defense analyst is like a security team member, and you have offensive combat. So this is really nice for fighting. Now, in my Let's Play, and I'll put a link to that down below, when I booted up the game the first time, I actually was a botanist because I wanted to be able to, just start and farm and cook and stuff. And I like this background quite a bit because farming is very good for getting food that's not radioactive, which, as you'll see at the beginning of the game, is kind of an issue. But at the same time, there's all sorts of other choices that you can be. And I feel like let's just go with something like this, which is straightforward for combat, for starting out. So we get 8 starting points, and we get a little bonus to blunt, fortitude, sprinting, and strength. And I will say next. So once you've chosen your background, it's time to choose traits. And this is kind of what I meant, where it's like Project Zomboid, which means you get points to spend right here, which are 8, and you have 8 points in blue. And all of these positive traits cost, that are in blue over here on the left, cost some of these 8 points. But you can take Fanny Pack, for example, and then go -2, and then take a red negative trait like Slow Learner and balance it out. And as long as you're at 0 or above, you're okay. Now, I'm going to turn off these because I was just doing that for a demonstration. Now, I'm going to tell you straight up, I took this trait, Hearty Appetite, because I didn't quite realize how impactful this would be, and I thought I could just, cook food to overcome this. Do not take this. I think that this is far too much hunger to have. You will need to eat all the time. It will be very, very annoying, so I would not take Hearty Appetite if I were you. Now, we have 8 points, so we could take some stuff that we think is beneficial. We get tired less with Night Owl. We get cooking skill twice as fast, which honestly, I actually like this quite a bit. Cooking takes a while, and you want to raise up your skill. Fanny Pack is cool, not completely necessary. 20% more experience is also really good. So inconspicuous is nice, but I'm not too worried about sneaking around with the way I play the game. So this is where, like I said, it's a beginner's guide, so I'm going to make some recommendations, and I'm going to do my own pick, but I suggest you sit down and read these to just kind of, figure out exactly which ones you think will be the best for you and your playstyle. I'm going to take Gardener, because it gives you the recipe for basic garden plots right from the outset. I love gardening. And then I'm going to take Hobbyist Chef so that I can get experience faster for cooking. And then is there anything else I want to take? I kind of want to take, Wrinkly Brain Meat or something like that, but instead I'm going to take Light Eater. Or do I want to take Weathered? You know what? Actually, I'm going to take First Aid Certification. So sorry, I'm just kind of doing a completely new build for this guide, so I'm just reading everything. And I like what we have here, and the reason I chose First Aid is because you get 5 extra bandages. Now, bandages are super easy to craft, so that is almost nothing. That's not a gain at all. But what is a gain is just 3 levels of First Aid. So you get a little boost to First Aid right out of the gate. So I'm focusing mostly on stuff that will help us skill and survive. Cooking will help us level up cooking so we can eat, and gardening will help us eat. We already have a lot of stuff for combat. So this character is good at healing, good at combat, and good at cooking. And I like it quite a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and finish it. And I'm going to say, yes, I'm ready. And here we are in the office sector, ready to start the game, and this is where we will end the first episode of our beginner's guide. The introduction is done, we've created our world and our character, and we're ready to actually try and survive this catastrophe here. Everyone, I hope you're finding this series to be useful and fun so far. There will be many episodes to come as I explain the game as we get further. There's a lot to talk about, so we're going to have an episodic guide series here, and I will check you in the next episode. Now, if you have any questions about anything that we covered, if you feel like I didn't go over it enough and you want more information, or if you are an expert on the game and you'd like to share some tips just about what we've covered so far for a brand new player without spoiling anything, that would be fantastic. Thank you so much, everyone. I will check you next time. Take care.